All right, greetings again, 1060. Hope everyone is still doing well. So in this video too, whereas I think I mentioned already, we're going to talk very specifically about the collaborative research proposal. And primarily in this video, to kind of get us started, really want to talk about how this is a problem-solving activity. This is really, so whatever broad topic that maybe we're thinking about or that we've chosen or that we have agreed upon in our teams, we now want to kind of move to that area of, okay, so what within that topic is an issue? I don't want to say a problem per se, but what is something in there that we can research that may need some solutions, right? Or may need some recommendations or some improvements upon, or where is an area within the research that we need to, through some further research, we could find out some more about if we have these research questions. So kind of these bullet points right here in our introduction and talking about this project is we want to find and articulate a problem that can be addressed with research. Okay, something that kind of exists. It says here in an actual group, company, organization. So that's kind of like helping us to think about very specific or maybe very narrow. And then we want to think about putting together some research questions and kind of our methods of how we think we're gonna go about researching those and discovering more how if we've got this issue or this problem that we know needs to be researched, how do we go about doing it based on the question that we have. Then we want to talk about our strengths and weaknesses as writers and researchers. We can assign roles, and we're going to kind of budget our time and think about the life cycle or the plan, kind of a research plan of how we're going to do this. So that's why we're kind of in teams for this too, because we can, someone's very strong at researching, and maybe someone else very strong at like putting that writing together. And someone's really, really good at coding and maybe putting the MLA formatting together. You guys can work together to make that work for you. And then now then we'll also talk about the plan for the project's life cycle, right? So we're going to forecast where we know we need to be. What are the steps along the way that we want to have done or completed. All right, so proposing a research report is a problem-solving activity, as we said, right? So we're going to talk about, we don't necessarily have to propose a final answer. Instead, we're saying this is what we intend to do. We are going to look at this thing in this particular way and see what's out there and what are the possible solutions. So there might be more than one. All right, so we're going to kind of we can look, it says problems affecting Detroit or Oakland University, are good places to start, et cetera, but anything within your topic that we can kind of think about narrowing down is beneficial and possible for us in all of these areas. All right, so we've done some of those things already. So this is how we'll then put the collaborative research proposal together. So the first thing, we'll open up with a summary before introduction, it's overview of the problem, the proposed program of work or plan of work, we might call it too. And then who's the members of the team and what are their strengths and weaknesses. And then we're going to go into more details. And then here's the introduction. So we're going to draft up a problem statement, give us a good background, a purpose and audience statement. Why are we putting this together? Who is our audience? Who is going to benefit from this based on our purpose of looking at this? How do we see that today? And then our introduction also should contain here in this bullet point right here, the background on the problem, key sources of information, the scope and the organization of the remaining proposal, discussion of any keywords or technical terms that maybe some of your research that you already know about, or things that you know that you still need to find out and discover. And then we're going to have a section on the proposed program, or we'll have a plan of work. So what are we going to do? What are you and your team thinking about doing when it comes to research? Is that strictly databases? Are we going to do, since we can't go necessarily on site, but this is that's why I say via an online activity. So if we have a particular company, or there is an organization, or there might be groups in which this problem, affects people or touches people, is there an online space we can go? Are there some people we might need to survey? Okay. What other kind of work do we need to do? Technical terms and secondary research. And then you're going to describe your qualifications of each team member, and then the life cycle of the project. How do you see this thing putting together? So those are the four major sections. So I'll leave you with that for now to kind of get started. And then I'll come back with you later. We'll talk about more of those specifics. All right, you guys stay awesome. Have a great week. We'll talk soon. Bye now.